Hey, what's up guys? So Destiny has been out for a few weeks now, so yeah, I think it's time for a review. Let's get started. So let's start off with probably the most disappointing aspect of the entire game, the story. Now, to be honest, I don't even know what this game is about. Like, the story is just so bad, it's just so difficult to understand. You start the game by creating your own character, and then this robot called the Ghost wakes you up after your deep sleep so that you can fight this group called the Fallen. And that's it. That's all I know about this game's story. Like, nothing is explained properly. Like, you don't know why you're moving from this location to that location, why you're shooting all these enemies. It's just really confusing, to say the least. Which is really sad considering Bungie is known for making great stories in their other games like Halo. And there's only like 4 cutscenes in the entire game, which makes things even worse. So Destiny's story is pretty much a fail, unfortunately. Now, I said this in my first impressions video, and I'll say it again. The game's soundtrack is fantastic. Not enough people are talking about it on YouTube. Like, the different sounds and instruments, it just sounds outstanding, especially with headphones on. It's amazing. In terms of the gameplay, Destiny has 2 main modes, the story missions and obviously the multiplayer. Now, for the single player, you'll be traveling between different planets to complete different missions with random people. Oh, and speaking of the missions, most of them have the same formula, where you basically party up with a bunch of friends or random people and you work together to take down waves of enemies until you get to a computer room where you can deploy your ghost and then defend that location from even more enemies. Now, that might sound repetitive, and it kind of is. Oh, and there are a few boss fights, but they're nothing special. Overall, the game features a decent variety of enemies. As you've probably heard by now, this game has some RPG and MMO elements. Now, the game doesn't fully dive into either of these genres, but it does have them, to some extent. Like, there is a skill tree, so you can level up your character, earn new weapons, gear, and abilities. Now, in terms of the weapon and gun mechanics, Bungie did a great job just like in Halo, so definitely no complaints there. Now, the game feels really stable, like there's no glitches or frame drops, like it just works perfectly. Now let's talk about that multiplayer. So overall, the multiplayer is a lot of fun. I have been enjoying it. Now, it can get hectic at times, especially with the supercharge ability where it's like a one-hit kill, so it can get pretty crazy when a lot of people are using that at once. But the main problem I think most people are having with the multiplayer is the matchmaking. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've joined a match when I'm level 5 and everyone else is level 20. So there definitely are some balancing issues in that aspect. In terms of the map design, Bungie did a good job. Like, they know how to make some good maps. Now, there's this place in the game called the Tower, which is basically like a hub world where you can purchase new upgrades and abilities, meet with other players, and party up. There's one big problem. Bungie advertised this game to be this big, gigantic open world, but in reality the world is tiny. Like, why can't I explore this huge open area? Why do I have to stay here? It's just really closed off. And this is one of the reasons why so many people hate this game, because of false advertising. Now let's talk about the graphics. So this game is absolutely gorgeous, from the lighting to the textures to the animations. This game is absolutely beautiful. You can really tell what Bungie spent their $500 million budget on just by how the game looks. So my final thoughts. So it took me around 10 hours to beat the campaign. Now, Destiny is a good game. Now, it's nowhere near the hype. Like, this game was overhyped way too much, and it definitely had a few major flaws, the story being the perfect example. Now, overall, the game is fun, especially with friends, but here's my advice. Lower your expectations or wait for our price drop. If you can do at least one of those two things, you will like this game. So in conclusion, I give this game a 7.7 out of 10. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.